we can all have some philosophy of life. Philosophy can be the most easy philosophy is what is called as hedonistic. Uh, Make maximum merry, have the maximum pleasure in life, have as much pleasure. Even if I have to borrow for my today's pleasure, I don't care about what happens tomorrow. Let me live in the moment, in the sense I just want pleasure in the moment. Could be. Or there may be the other end of the spectrum, which is I don't care about what my worldly life is. Somehow I have to attain liberation, where the journey I'm ready to make it painful so that I am assured of an end or a destination which seems to be very joyful. Two ends of the spectrum. And it is up to us to adopt a philosophy of our life where we think about this is what guides my life. This is what is the purpose of my life. And the more if you have a proper thinking, which can of course change over time, which can of course be influenced by what we are experiencing, but we have something. One of your own army generals gave a wonderful saying, which I really cherished when I was in my corporate life. It is plans are nothing, planning is everything. I think Eisenhower or somebody, some general. And that was a fantastic way of looking at life. Many times we judge our planning just by the plans. You see, plans can fail. But the system of planning which we have as a part of our DNA will not make us fail in this journey of life anyway. We may fail in milestones. We may fail in livelihood maybe. But life will never fail when we absorb or when we live a principle or a philosophy. So I really like that quote. When you do a planning, the result of a planning is a sheet of paper or some strategy which we call as plan. Plans may fail, but if we fail to plan, you see, then we are completely in a directionless type of a life. And when we keep moving around aimlessly, then we don't feel the contentment and we don't feel the happiness when we are in this journey of life. Likewise, whether we are able to attain or achieve or accomplish something out of the philosophy is secondary. But to have a guiding philosophy of life, and this is what I personally shall stand for. This is what inspires me as a human being. Once we have such a philosophy which guides our life in general, which obviously influences our values. Values means things which I attach value, worth for. And obviously it will influence my decisions. It will influence my relationships. It will influence the quality of my interactions with fellow human beings and fellow beings itself. And then we feel, yes, I'm leading some life. You see. Otherwise, another short thing which I saw in that Alice in Wonderland is we are going in a road and we don't know which road to go because we don't know the destination. We don't know the guiding principle for my journey of life. And Alice is asking the cat, which road should I take? Because suddenly the road is splitting into three. And the cat says it depends on a great deal on where you want to go. And Alice says, I don't know where I want to go. Then the cat said, any road will take you there. You see. So if we are not clear about purpose and values, as me as a person, and if you're lucky, as you as a family unit, if possible. If not, it is okay. At least I should have it personally. Then I never do anything which I will regret later, because most of my major decisions are guided by value, by a philosophy, which may change over time. But then I look back and say, my sponsoring thought, which sponsored the decision, came from that philosophy. Now I've learned my lesson. Now I have a different philosophy. Now I am clear what I want. And I can really look upon it as a learning experience only when those decisions came from some deeper thinking. Could be a misplaced philosophy, which I come to understand that later. When I make the decision, I'm always right. If I made a conscious decision, I can never make a wrong conscious decision. I might have made a conscious decision given the data, given my aspiration, given my status, given my circumstances. That's never wrong. Now, when I go further in my life, I learn something more by my own experiences, by listening, by reading. And so I have a very different take of life. Now my philosophy may change. But when I look back at what I did 5 years back, I will not have a regret because I understood this is the way in which I thought life is. And all my decisions were based on my conviction of this is what life is. But now I have changed my philosophy. Now I'm looking at life afresh. I wouldn't fail or I wouldn't slip in trying to repeat that mistake because I now know that this is my guiding philosophy right now.
And let's count our blessings and make every blessing count. Have a great day.